All right, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Monday morning, January 5th, our first full week of the year. How are you doing this morning? Good morning. If you're here for the first time, my name is Tyler. I'm going to be helping navigating us through this wild world of trading futures in 2026, and it's going to be a great year. It's going to be a good year. We're going to have lots of growth. We're going to have lots of lessons and opportunities to grow as believers, to grow in our relationship with Christ, and to grow as traders. So I am full of expectation as we get started this year. We start every morning with prayer, and today's not going to be any different. Let's go ahead and open in prayer, and then we will get started. Father, we commit today to you. We commit this year to you, this week to you, Father. And we thank you that you are in control. We trust your leadership. We trust your hand on our lives, Father, that you will direct our steps. And Father, I pray a special blessing over every person here on this stream, every person that will be on this stream now and in the future. Father, we pray that you would bless the work of their hands, Father, that they would be drawn closer to you and you would use this live stream for your glory. That is my prayer, that you use this live stream for your glory. And we say this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. That's kind of like my shirt right here. I'm wearing it. No bull, no bear, just the lamb. No bull, no bear, just the lamb. It's all about Jesus. What do we got going on here today? Let's take a look. We're going to jump out to the weekly chart and take a look at where we are. Last week, which I didn't trade much last week, we only traded one day last week, and we ended up, we ran lower, reached lower, closed below these two up close candles. Let's move our high, our weekly candle, our weekly highs and lows to the weekly high and the weekly low. I really want to see it stay beneath. Personally, I would want to see it stay. If we're going to not go higher, I'd want it to hold that midpoint. From a daily perspective, we'll mark our daily high and low. Previous week low is also previous day's low. Friday's midpoint has already been tagged, so no Friday midpoint. And we do have a daily fair value gap that we tagged on Friday right here that we should just note. Hang on a second. I need to get my stuff organized here. Shrink my face. Greetings from London. Sonia, do I got that right? Welcome. Fletcher, good morning. John, Logan, Matt, good morning, good morning. Cryptorific, good morning, good morning. Jason, what's up? How you doing? Ventura, California. Blaze, what's up? Jamaica, good morning. Kari. Elevate him. Good morning. Corey. Good morning. Let's drop down to the 4-hour here. Today is our first day back into normal routine. That's what today is. Today is a getting back into routine kind of day. We did that at 10 a.m. yesterday. Here's our volume imbalance, our new week opening gap. We'll mark that here in a second. And then the new day opening gap has been filled. So I'm going to remove the new day opening gap here. I don't like a ton of blue lines on here. I don't think it's necessary. Oh, that one might be important. We're going to draw our midpoint from this high to low. Do we have it? Oh, no. It's, yeah, we already have it, so we can delete that. All right, so from a 4-hour perspective, we are still inside this 4-hour range right here. We've reached inside this 4-hour fair value gap, and then we have an inversion. So see that inversion right there? I'm going to keep that right there for right now. Let's see if that works. See what it does there. I'm going to delete this 4-hour here. Not as interested in that daily, but we're going to keep that on the charts. Looks very bullish right now. We do have a 4-hour fair value gap down here if it wanted to retrace to it. Take a look at this candle right here. This is the 2 a.m. candle. Look how it swept that low. And then it's pushing higher. Okay. So I would say right now I'm seeing the signature for a move higher. But because the 4-hour candle is so long, doesn't mean that the 10 a.m. could go like this for 2 hours and then continue higher. But I think we have an idea for direction. Down to the 1 hour, still this large 1 hour fair value gap. I'll go ahead and mark it on the hourly. And then we have that midnight low in London Open that is right in line with a lower time frame breaker right here. So I'm interested to seeing this hold right here. If anything, maybe even reverse a little bit. And then let's go ahead and mark our new week. our opening range gap. It looks like it's going to be in discount. Drop down to the 1 minute here. We got 1 minute and 28 seconds. I do like the 930 model. Here's a breaker right here. We're gonna go from this low. I'm gonna drag that over and let's see what that lines up with. See if it lines up and if it's hit it. Okay, so we stopped just beneath it. You see that? Let's see if it hits it before. All right, so there's the level there. I do like 930. Let's see what happens here. I don't know what all that noise is. Golden. That worked out nicely. All right, so we have our opening range gap. We have our London open or our London low sitting right around here. We'll go ahead and mark that level out. And then London high has been ran. And then midnight open is the last level I want to grab. See if London session did run into midnight open, so not as significant, but we'll still have it here. We do have news at 10 o'clock today, so we'll pay attention to see how the market runs or moves in the first few minutes to see if it's going to be clean or if it's going to be choppy. Overlapping price action is indication of sitting on our hands and waiting. Especially when you get a pump and a pump and then it just kind of rolls over right here. That to me is like, okay, let's just wait. We did hit a key level in the form of this breaker. If we go to the 15-minute time frame, we should see that breaker. It's this low right here, so it would look way better on the 5-minute. See that breaker? So we got the high, low, higher high, and we aggressively hit that level. We have another one right here. If we get a 1 minute fair value gap, I may participate in that breaker and see if it wants to go lower. I'm not opposed to it at all. We got some potential areas down here of interest, but I would want to see it come up into the fair value gap. I like his concepts. All right, I'm going to do a small short right here. By the way, disclosure. All right, there's my position. Blue line. I'm going to sell one right below this swing low here, which is a breaker. You'll see that breaker right here. So I'm going to sell one right out below that swing low if we can get there. That'll be 50, just under 50 points. I'm tempted to pull it up, but I'm going to put it back there and let it rest. Come on. All right, there's TP number 1. Stops at break even. I'm going to look at this midpoint. I'm not even going to go below. I don't need to. I mean, that it's going to be 86 handles if it hits my target. And I'm half tempted to close it now because we're before news and we could go right back up to break even. Yeah, I think I'm going to close that. All right, position closed. About 50 handles on that trade total. Still could play out. We got a higher time 15-minute breaker that is here. We're just before news, and we could consolidate and come back up here. And I'm not going to take a loss. We're going to just keep it, take some base hits. And I mean, 50 points is more than a base hit. I've already hit my. am above my daily target I typically like to hit. It's not a target that I shoot for, but it's a number that I know in the back of my mind. So, one and done almost. We'll see if anything comes up. We still got news, and then we did take, so technically 2 for 2 if you include the 930 model. I forgot to mark 930. If you haven't marked 930, go ahead and mark it. 930 level, and for TED, we'll mark 7. I've stopped. I stopped watching it. Not intentionally, I should say. There's 7 a.m. There's a 7 a.m. opening. We've noticed that 7 a.m. price likes to run to it and reject it or find some type of support at it. You see here the levels, there's 7 a.m. We tapped it here, hit it here, hit it there, run through it. Wicked through it here. We'll see if it finds support here or not, but that was the breaker that we took. It didn't give us a fair value gap. It just gave us a large green candle. So I'll take those. When we get aggressive green candles here into the breaker, removing that fair value gap, I'll take it. Because typically right off the open, the mornings, right off the open, you have higher volatility, which means you got a lot more wicks. You see all these wicks you see here? There's just more wicks than there are body for the most part. So what you'll get is you'll get these large wicks that move aggressive in one direction, and then or bodies that move in one direction, then they disappear. And so when it runs up into a key level, or in this case the breaker, then that's what we took our entry on. Took our entry here. We held through 12 points of drawdown because I got in roughly around there. To 7 a.m. was 50 points right there. Now, one of my lessons that I try to tell people is you need to learn to hold through pullbacks. In this case, I could justify my reason why I didn't want to hold through a potential pullback. And the main reason is I didn't think it was going to be a pullback. I'm thinking of news, and I'm thinking of these large wicks, and I'm thinking it could just consolidate around this area, maybe make a slow move lower, but maybe it comes down here and it comes and it does one of these things. And I don't want to be a part of that. So if I'm getting good movement, within a minute or two and getting 50 points, maybe I just take it and call it a day. Now, I could say the other side too and say, well, you still need to learn to hold through those, Tyler, because you have a higher time frame, a 15-minute breaker, followed by a 1-minute breaker. What do you expect to happen? If it's giving you the direction, hold the trade. So I could see both sides of it. Now, I honestly, I'm partial to closing because I already think we're bullish based on the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour, we have that sweep of liquidity at 2 a.m. That sweep right there. That is what I'm looking at to consider us continuing to move higher. The reason I took the short is because we came up into resistance of the breaker at the top end of the range. So just when you hit the bottom and tops of ranges, you can expect pullbacks. So from here, we'll see if it wants to go higher. See how this closes. Maybe it does one of these and then runs. All I know is I'm green and pulled out what I needed from the market, and it doesn't matter. Handle is 4 ticks. A handle is 4 ticks, which is 1 point or 1 handle. This isn't a signal service. IKOM was not a signal service. So a lot of the back and forth there. We'll see if we're proven right on selling our position when we did around here. We've done mostly consolidating since then. I'm going to pull off my execution chart. I got a couple things that I want to tidy up here. Watch how it runs through or reacts at this level. Music? What do we say? Let's do some music. Awesome, welcome. Glad you found the channel. Jay Cartwright. There's no signals, but listening closely could pay you well. Oh, that's funny. What is this channel? This channel is a community of Christians wanting to trade in a better environment, in an uplifting environment with education and examples of live trading. I will take live trades. You've seen me take the live trade. I referenced when I took it, but it's not a signal service. People aren't paying me to get signals. I'm not into that. That's too much pressure. I ain't doing that crap. Yes, I did. I put up the disclosure right before I took the trade. But if anybody wants to see it again, there it is. All right, so note how we ran into the breaker again and rejected it, okay? This is an example of how breakers work and why I love them so much, okay? Now, I'm not taking it. Doesn't mean they don't still work, or doesn't mean you shouldn't. But you just have to pay attention on which ones you want to take breakers on, because there's a breaker right here. that we're hitting right now. Does it find support here and move higher? The reason why I reference this breaker is because it's in line with the 15-minute breaker or 5-minute breaker that I pointed out earlier. So when I got a higher time frame breaker followed by a lower time frame breaker in the same direction, that's attractive. What is a breaker? Josh. A breaker is where you have a high, a low, then it makes a higher high, and then breaks through that low. That low right there. Then what it does is it comes back up to that low between the high and the higher high. Right there. And that is where you take your entry to see a continuation to the downside. So if we were to overlay this, you see how that looks that way? Oh, some slight adjustments here. And there you go. That is the pattern, if you want to call it a pattern, that I look for. Now that pattern has way more significance in why it looks this way than anything else. And you have to be careful not to just look for patterns, because it's more than just a pattern. It's a pattern at a specific time and specific areas that make it significant. That's why if I was to flip this on its head, which I don't think I can, you would see one right here. Do I take that one? I personally wouldn't right now. This one is significant because of the breaker on the 15-minute time frame from over here. Low, or high, low, higher high. We broke lower, and there's the level that we were waiting for. And it finally hits that here. It reaches up higher, and I bet you I know what it reached into. I haven't even looked yet. I bet you it reached into the first inversion in that leg. So if we look in this price leg right here, from the low, where's our first fair value gap that we broke? It's right here. Now watch this. Watch this. Okay, I'm gonna pull this over. I haven't even done it yet. Watch this. I'm just betting. I'm betting. I'm putting my money on it. I'm doing this slowly for dramatic effect right now. Dramatic effect. It's taking place. Is it going to match? And guess what it does? Boom. There it is. It wicks into that inversion fair value gap inside of the breaker. So if you want a little tip, finding an inversion inside of a breaker bar or that push higher is really what you should be paying attention to. When I took this trade, I didn't even see it there. Didn't even pay attention to it. So there it is. There is the breaker in all of its glory. Mario, you can rewatch it. This is on YouTube, and it will stay there. So that inversion fair value gap inside the breaker right here, we'll remove the first presented fair value gap. We'll remove this 15 BSC just to make it really easy. There it is. That's the first inversion inside of the high, low, or you could say high, low, higher, high with the break lower. Yes, we come back up, but do we ever hit this area? No. Seven minutes till news. We'll see what news wants to do at that time. If you appreciate the details and if you appreciate the commentary and the insight, do me a solid, do me a favor and hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And then once we hit 75 likes, we do another part of our live stream, and that is our daily affirmation. I have an affirmation ready to go. I haven't posted it anywhere yet, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's very good. And it tells me I'm doing something right. So I greatly appreciate it. And it's free. And this live stream's free. I think I saw somebody asking on live how many live streams. Why not buy here? Seemed like one that could work. Because I don't see my model anywhere. That's why. We trade based on models, entry strategies, not because we think it's going to go somewhere. I don't see it going anywhere right now. I see consolidation. And I mean, why would you want to go long when the breaker that took us lower is still finding resistance? Look how it rejected it. I did a video in my early days when I was studying breakers and breaker blocks that it's very common to find a breaker block like this. Let's just mark it. And it'd be referenced 3 to 4 times. So far we've hit it 1, 2, 3 times and we've rejected it. So I would not be interested in longs unless we start closing above this area right here. So once you understand structure, market structure, and you can see the areas of significance, you can start painting a picture on saying things like, okay, if it gets below here, I'll be interested. If it gets above here, I'm interested in going long. But in the consolidation, that's where most of our mistakes take place, is trying to guess direction when it's inside here. Because it could go this way, but it still could go this way. What about this inversion fair value gap? What is that? It's an inversion fair value gap on the 15-minute time frame that supports the idea of this breaker moving lower. Maybe this was all the move that it wanted. Now remember, we have a 4-hour sweep of liquidity at 2 a.m. Right here. This is our sweep of liquidity before the explosion higher. So see all this right here. This is 4 hour. This is a 4-hour candle right here. And at 2 a.m. we sweep it. Let's do this. right there. That's a 4-hour low right there. And we sweep it. After we sweep that low, what happens? And what happens with style? Boom. It moves aggressively higher. This, even though it's at 2 a.m., is signaling where price wants to move. This right here. Yes, it does all this, but what does it eventually continue to do? It continues to move higher. So this here is also signaling bullish price action in my book. In 1 minute, we'll get a better idea of where the 4-hour closes, the 6 a.m. candle. But I still do think we can go higher. But am I going to go long here? Probably not, because we have a breaker that has found a resistance. So you go to the 4-hour time frame, and this is what it begins to look like with 22 seconds left. This 4-hour candle is still going to close bullish, so you want to maintain the bullish sentiment, but we could still drop down to here. That's really possible. Drop down to that 4-hour right there, sweep that 6 a.m. candle, and then move higher. But we also are at the top of the range, so this 4-hour sweep might not be as significant because we're towards the top. It could decide, oh, I want to go back down here. And we'll find out. We have the new candle here. We also closed beneath that 4-hour. Now remember that inversion fair value, inversion fair value gap right here, a small one. Well, this 4-hour is also an inversion with this breaker. Look at this. High, low, higher high. We broke lower. What did we come up to? The inversion inside of the breaker bar. So my question at this point is this, and so far it has found resistance, meaning price still could run lower. Does it mean it's going all the way down here? I don't know. But I'm just telling you what price is showing me right now. This 4-hour candle closed below. We came up into a 15-minute breaker. Came into the London low and midnight opening levels and a 4-hour fair value gap, or an inversion fair value gap because it was already broken through, and closed below it. This 4-hour fair value gap looks attractive. This 4-hour, this level right here. This looks attractive. Now, what's the problem? The problem right now is this. Look at this. That's just trash price action. I don't want to participate in that. So you could potentially miss the opportunity simply because price action right now looks horrible. I don't want to trade that. All right, let's hit 75 likes, folks. 75. Yep, still in consolidation here. I don't like it. I haven't taken anything else since the trades that you saw me take. Still waiting. Let's get that. Well, pretty close, so I'll get everything ready. We'll get everything ready. Amen. Amen. All right. Three more likes and we'll do our daily affirmation. All right, price is pushing through that breaker at this point. We want to see the bodies close here, and we want to see a fair value gap left. Okay, so there is no fair value gaps in any of this, and there's no fair value gaps down here, and there is a fair value gap that is sitting down here that has not been mitigated yet. But I need to see a fair value gap left or created as a result of this quote unquote move higher out of consolidation. And sometimes when it does create it, sometimes really late, it's too high for us to participate. So just because you know the direction doesn't mean it's a wise decision to actually participate in it, because of the condition of the current market right now. Are there specific things? Yes. I go over them every morning. Every morning, the first thing we do is we go over all those levels. I mark them all out. So you can go back to any live stream and you can see me do that. All right. Here we are. You know what? We're gonna give it till 10:15 and then we'll do our daily affirmation. The main reason is sometimes I'll start talking about the affirmation and price action could do something. And since we're in the 10 a.m. macro, I don't want to miss an opportunity or be able to narrate it for you guys. So we will do that here in about 10 minutes. Yes, I do live streams on Tuesday, but they're private for the purpose-driven traders inside the academy. You can find information on that down in the description if you're interested. thepurposedriventrader.com. Note how it referenced the breaker again. So instead of resistance, let's see if this breaker acts as support. It can be used on either side. So once it's broken through, we want to see it do its inverse. Instead of resistance, we want to see it act as support. Josh, the answer is yes. I like Apex. I like Apex for scaling. I don't even know how many accounts with them. I have 10 accounts with Apex right now. And I have gotten payouts. I like them for scaling more than 5. If I had to pick a prop firm that I love the most, right now it's Take Profit Trader. Daily payouts, no restrictions on your trades on your funded accounts. The only negative is your funded account is a trailing drawdown on your funded. Tradeify just came out with a new product called their Select plan, and their funded accounts are end of day drawdown, which is more appealing. So I've maxed out my Take Profit Trader accounts, and I have a couple I've maxed out my Take Profit Trader, and I have a few Tradeify accounts that I'm testing out my own personal experience with them, so I can be more, instead of just saying stuff about them, I want to be able to talk about them with my own experience. AMS, it takes time. I was completely lost for 6 months. The first 6 months that I started trading with ICT concepts, I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't understand anything. Nope. You got to give it time. Be consistent. Do an hour a day. Do an hour a day for a year. And you will find yourself understanding significantly more. Doesn't mean you're all the way there. Trading is the hardest thing you could ever do in your life. All right, BC, let's make it happen. Let's see a short. Let's see it. I would like to see this closed below. It gave us a fair value gap right there. I'd like to see that closed below. So AMS, have you stayed on one area or one system, or do you go from one thing to another? Or, I tried a little bit of this, did a little bit of that, a little bit of this. When I came across ICT, I heard the Lord say to me, this is the answer to your prayer, and I threw out everything else. I threw everything else out the window, and I committed to learning only his stuff. And about 6 months later, I started grasping and really understanding it. Obviously, you'll get things right away, but to start putting things together and understand what's important and what's not, that just takes so much time. So much time. It took me 18 months to start making money. So for 18 months, I was losing money. Then after 18 months, I started making money. It doesn't mean that you don't have any dry periods or find yourself being in drawdown. It's still a journey even after that. But so on average, I'd say 2 years is the time you need to be able to commit to building a root system, a foundation, without seeing the fruit of it through payouts. ICT is a concepts created by Michael Huddleston. He's actually still on YouTube right now. Not very often. He just made a video this past week. And I learned all my stuff from him. There you go, AMS. That is, you just answered your own questions. Okay? So here's what I've told many of my students as well as many traders. There is a level of commitment you've committed to right now, AMS, and so far it's produced this result for you. I promise you there is a deeper level of commitment that you could commit to. The only question is are you willing to commit to that deeper level? What do you mean? What do I commit to? Okay. Maybe it's only trading demo account and only trading your setups. Maybe it's coming up with your rules and only trading those when you see those rules align. Maybe it's stopping when you hit a certain drawdown number. When you lose $100, you're going to close your account or close it for the day. There's always a deeper level of commitment you can take to see growth in your trading. The problem is most people aren't willing to do that or don't realize they can. They're like, well, I've done everything. The answer is no, you haven't. I could say that to the best of best traders or the traders that have been on here the longest since they say I've done everything. I'll say no, you haven't, because there is always a deeper level of commitment that you can commit to see yourself progress as a trader. Every time I wanted growth or I've been frustrated and felt stagnant, I realized that, you know what, Tyler? You really could commit even more to this area, to this area, to that area. But we don't want to do it. We don't want to take the time and deal with the pain of not making big progress quickly because we don't have the balls to be able to sit and be patient and wait for that to come in the future. That's the truth. We're like, well, I want it now. So this is what I think needs to happen to get it now. And the truth is, it's not. It's what it will take to lose everything. So every time I've been in that place, by the grace of God, the Lord would highlight something to me and I would see that I still haven't committed to the level that I think I need to commit. Or look, oh wow, they're doing that. Wow, I apparently can commit more to being patient. What if you commit to just taking 2 trades a day? Can you do that? Most people would say, yeah, but they won't follow through on it. Can you do that? Can you commit to only taking 2 trades a day? I guarantee you it will force you to be more patient and wait for a good setup. And then when it doesn't work out, what do you got to do? You got to journal everything. Can you commit to journaling every trade that you take? Can you commit to writing down everything that you experienced, your feelings before the trade, your feelings during the trade, and what emotions you felt after the trade, whether it was a green or a red trade? Because you'll learn more in that process than you will by just clicking the freaking button. And the problem is, most of you are just clicking the button. It's the truth. It's statistically the truth. I've taken 2 trades and I haven't taken anything else in any of this because look at this. I saw this right here. That's what I started seeing and I'm like, I don't like any of this. I'm not taking it. Now, have I made the mistake in my current level of maturity taking trades and stuff like this? Yes. And it hurts. And then I'm reminded of why I don't take trades in it. So, you can do it. You can do it. It's possible. And this is a perfect segue into our daily affirmation. Because our daily affirmation is based out of Luke 16 today. And we're going to go into that right now. Okay? Luke chapter 16. This is about the parable of the shrewd manager. Okay, I'm not going to read the parable to you. but it's Luke 16:10. And the 10 says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Here is our affirmation for today. Today I steward well what God has entrusted me. What has He entrusted you with? The opportunity to trade. The funds that the prop firm account that you have right now. He's entrusted you with that. My time, my resources, my focus, and my influence. I am faithful with little and responsible with much. Through wisdom, discipline, and obedience, I honor God in all I manage. Okay, we can say that you're going to go as a trader and you got to do A, B, and C, but at the end of the day, if you are a believer, you are accountable to Him at the end of the day. Are you being faithful with what He's placed in your hands? Are you honoring God in the way you're trading? I can tell you, when I started, I was straight up gambling, folks. Straight up gambling. And that wasn't honoring to the Lord. And I remember one day, the Lord convicted me so hard on this. He said, Tyler, in essence, in my heart, this is what I heard in my heart was, you're basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Being frivolous with the resources I've given you. You're not being a good steward of the money that I've entrusted you with. You're gambling your funds for your family. You're blowing the funds for your family. And man, oh man, did I just cry like a baby. Because I felt convicted. A deep conviction of what I was doing was wrong. And I realized there's a deeper level of commitment that I can commit to. Am I willing to do it? At that point, I was like, Lord, whatever it takes, I'll do it. And then what happens? I commit, I grow, but then I get relaxed because I'm doing really good. And then there's another lesson that I need to learn. How to sustain patience, how to sustain discipline. And this is a long-term game, folks. This isn't, if you thought you're going to get into trading and make money in the first week and, you change your life in a week. Nope. It's going to be a 2-year process and your whole life is going to change, because what people don't realize is when you start trading, every other area of your life is going to be changed as well, because it's that important to change everything. If you can't be consistent in your personal life, how are you going to be consistent on the charts? If you overeat when you're angry or frustrated and it's your way to cope with things, how are you going to cope when you take a loss? I mean, I could go on and on and on and on about this, folks. And most people will click away thinking, no, I just need to know a strategy. I just need another strategy. I just need a strategy that works. Well, I can tell you why there's so many people out there that says this strategy's crap. This strategy doesn't work. This one doesn't work. That doesn't work. It's because strategies alone aren't enough. It's a disciplined trader that has a proven strategy that works. A undisciplined trader with a good strategy will lose money, guaranteed. And that's why you'll see so many people say online, well, this strategy doesn't work. Yeah, because you're not a disciplined trader. I've gotten to the point in my trading where there's too much evidence to see so many different ways to trade, and so many different people make money trading so many different ways. So who am I to say that, no, your way isn't right, mine is, when they're making money? What they've mastered is themselves. What they've mastered is self-discipline. What they've mastered is them being patient and not taking frivolous and sporadic trades. They've mastered that. You can too. You can as well. It just is a commitment. And the question is are you willing to commit? Are you willing to say, you know what? God, I believe this is where you have me. I'm not going to focus on money. I'm going to focus on growth. I'm going to focus on improving myself as an individual. I've seen so many areas of my life change, improve, become more consistent, more diligent, because I'm realizing all of it has tied together. And I still believe I have so much more, so much further to go. But I'm seeing the progress. Day in and day out, I'm seeing the progress. So, that is our affirmation for today. God bless you. What's up, Jimmy? Is this my full-time job? I am a realtor. And I would say, I was thinking about this the other day. My income has slowly done one of these things between the two. And we're at the point where day trading is becoming the main thing. That's where it's at. But if you're trading and you're brand new, you should 100% have another source of income. I found it significantly easier to learn to trade when I didn't need the money. If you need money and you're like, oh, trading's going to be the way. Well, first off, I get it if you need money. But if you need money to live off of and you're planning on day trading to be that source of income, in the next few months, the only way I see you actually getting through that is by a miracle from the Lord. Trading for the purpose with the pressure of having to make money, I have found just from my personal experience, it will result in you losing money. You'll lose money because your desire to get that money is stronger than the desire to be patient and grow as a trader. So having another source of income, I think, is crucial to your growth as a trader. One of my friends, I don't know if she's on here, she has another full-time job, and she's killing it at her job. And she's learning to trade. But what doesn't she have? She doesn't have the pressure to try to make money from trading. So she's learning. She's trading. She's growing as a trader, and with zero pressure of financial means. That's how you should be learning. So AMS, here's going to be my advice to you. Find a job that can meet your base needs. I'm not saying get a whole career. That's not what I'm saying. But get your base needs. Get your base needs on being able to pay rent, get food on the table, and pay your core bills. And then commit to the process of learning. And understand and remind yourself when you're at this job, this is temporary. This is temporary. This is just for a short period of time. And think about it in this way. That short period of time could be 4 years. Well, think about it this way. I'm going to be trading for another 40 years. 40 years. I'm going to be trading for more than likely 40 years. Can you commit to 4 years of education to have 36 years of trading success? I think we all know what that answer is. You gotta look beyond just the here and now. Way to go, John. If you're going to do a demo account, just go on TradingView because that's the platform I use. So if you want your charts to look similar to mine and be close to it, so you're not looking, it just seems more familiar, use TradingView. They have a free account. If you want to get a paid account, you can trade everything for free. Ricardo, I missed your question. Repost it in the chat. No, KTM. That's a recipe for disaster. You need more structure. You need to understand more context on where price is going to go. Today's trading is trash. Horrible price action. You can pay $4 or $5 a month to get live price action, Brent. It's super cheap. If you want to commit as a trader and grow, commit to $4 a month, $5 a month, whatever it is. It should not be a barrier at all. I got it when I looked at my emails this morning. I haven't read it, John. I haven't read the email yet. Since it was the holiday weekend, or since we're just getting out of holidays, I've been away from my emails and all that stuff. All the posts on YouTube have been automatic. It hasn't even been from me, so. Just getting back into the swing. Back into the swing. What strategy, KTM? Sorry, I missed it. I do have that. Oh, then you're fine. You shouldn't have any delay. What if you're experiencing delay right now? That delay is actually from YouTube's side. My live stream right now is on ultra low latency. I have the stats right here. Ultra low latency. That means if I have a solid connection, which I do, I'm at over 8,000 kilobytes per second. So that means I should have a delay of roughly 4 to 7 seconds on my live stream. Let's say less than 10 seconds. From what you see on your chart live to what you see my chart do, it's about a 10-second delay. Less than 10 seconds. All right, Ricardo, you had a question. I'm copy trading 2 Apex 50K accounts and trade with 4 to 5 ES contracts with the same strategy of 4 ticks loss and 4 to 12 ticks profit. On my excess, I typed and saved, as well as typing that I pulled. No, you don't need to have a video, a bunch of videos. From what I understand, here's what I would do. Go into chat. This is exactly what I did. I went into ChatGPT and I turned on the voice recorder and I just started describing my strategy. I just word vomited onto ChatGPT everything that I was thinking, what my strategy was, what I'm looking for, the time of day, yada, yada, yada. And then I asked it to put that in a detailed summary. And then I posted that into their text thing on their website, so that I had my strategy inputted there. Then the next thing that I do is when you see a great trade, just record that trade so that you have a recording of a trade. And just hold that and submit that if they ever ask for it. Do you think we'll be bearish now? It doesn't look bearish right now. It looks bullish. Still playing off of that 1 4-hour sweep right here. But because of all the consolidation and back and forth price action, I wasn't interested in taking it. Here's the 15-minute time frame. This doesn't look bearish at all, folks. There's the last 15-minute fair value gap. First 15-minute fair value gap that was respected. Price moved higher. We got London high and untagged London high and untagged midnight open from December 29th. And then above that, way up here, we have a daily fair value gap. So let's go to the daily here. If we start moving in this direction, if I will say, I'm not sure about this level unless we close above this. If we can get above here, the daily, we will for sure run for this volume imbalance here. I think that volume imbalance could be the next target. And then depending on what happens with this volume imbalance, it may, more than likely, it should reach up into here. Now, I've been saying this since right here. So since December 5th, I've been wanting it to hit this daily fair value gap, and it hasn't. But the longer it waits, the more attractive this level becomes. So I'm bullish for the interim, and I think we could move that direction, and that's what I would prefer to take trades to. We just had an opportunity that looked perfect to the downside that I took. Discord is only accessed through the Academy. So when you purchase the Academy, the Discord comes along with it. It's a one-time cost. There's no monthly fees or monthly subscription as of right now. I'm just in a bit of a funk getting off the ground. I've got a strategy and do technical analysis every morning, but still getting started in my journey. You got this. Remind yourself and allow yourself to take the time needed to learn. If you put a deadline on things, guys, you will find it much harder to learn. I thought it was I remember having a conversation with a tax accountant, and I'm asking about tax strategies for traders, and I was just getting started with trading, and they're like, if you're losing money, you don't need to do anything. If you're making money, and then I don't remember clearly, but I'm pretty sure I cut them off and be like, oh, I'll be making money here in about 4 to 6 months. I subconsciously had a deadline in my mind that I needed to start making money. And every time I would hit that level, I'd give myself a little more time thinking that it was just around the corner. And the truth is, it took me 18 months. So give yourself a year. At one point, I was like, all right, I'm done doing this back and forth. I'm giving myself 2 solid years. I'm going to give myself 2 years, and if I'm not seeing progress in 2 years, I have to be real with myself. But at the same time, I can't just, click the button. I have to commit to the learning process for 2 years. And so that's what it was. A few handles could have been gained through the 1008 candle. Um, absolutely. That's the candle I marked out. I said BC, one of the traders on here, decided to go short. I don't, based on his time when he said that, I'm not sure what he was seeing to go short. He most certainly could have seen something legit. But I wanted to see, if we were going to go short, I wanted to see this close below. But right after all these candles, you could say, well, look at all this support here. Let's see if we can go long. And you could have. I just don't like how slow price is moving here. So I wasn't interested in it. Yeah, get over it, Jacob. I think the X platform or whatever that thing is, there's been too much issues. I haven't had a single issue with Tradevate. So why switch when something's working? Just because the platform looks good. You'll get used to the platform. At first I was like, nah. Now it's just like, it is what it is, and I'm used to it. So I do all my analysis on here, and then I do my executions on Tradevate. Rob, what do we learn on the course? You learn how to read price action. Everything that I've been talking about here and what I'm pointing out, I help teach on a deeper level than just on my live streams. There's 50 plus videos that go over all of these concepts, helping to shorten the learning curve on all of the different ICT concepts that he teaches in concise videos. And then that gives you access to the Discord to ask questions, be a part of the community. My goal and desire is to build a Christian-based believer community that is about helping people become financially free. I want this to be bigger than just, oh, Tyler's answering a question in the chat, but it to be a community of traders where other traders are, developing, other traders are teaching. And that's the long-term vision and goal for this. Here's another breaker right here. Now, why wouldn't I be maybe interested, but really price action has shown us it wants to go this direction right now. If it's going to drop right now, let it drop and then see if it wants to find support and move higher. But we're almost in the 11 a.m. macro. We'll see if anything starts happening in the next 10 minutes. First link is bad. What link is that, KG? The Tradeify link? Because that's the first link there. It says page doesn't work, but it takes you there. So let me see if there's another one. All right, I corrected it. There it is. If you're wanting it. Hey Rob, I hope it's obvious that I'm a Christian. I hope it's obvious based on everything you've been hearing. But yes, I am. Okay, so this is going to be hard to believe, but everything you see here is what I'm looking at. On my other screen is my YouTube live stream, and then another browser that I have open on Tradify right now. I used to have all kinds of different stuff, and then I wanted to simplify it and be able to do it on one screen. So actually, that's the other screen that you see right there, and that's ES. And I haven't even looked at it today. I probably should, but I haven't. So I truly am on a one screen, and then I have these candles here that I'll reference every once in a while. But quite honestly, I don't look at them nearly as much as I do just switching to the 4-hour time frame. But I keep them on there because I think they would be beneficial to other people. And yes, I do think ES divergence is important. All right, so we are in the new 15-minute candle. Here we go. This is the 15-minute candle, new 15-minute candle here. We don't have a wick on the bottom. There's a good chance. Here's one that doesn't have one. Here's another. Here's another. Maybe it wants to continue to go higher. We'll see. We're still inside a 15-minute fair value gap right here. We filled it. But the next thing of interest is that swing high in this daily fair value gap, and then you have London high up there too. Let's drop to the 5-minute and see what we got. Lack of fair value gaps here. Just lack of everything. Even if I wanted to go higher, it's just I don't think today is the best day. Here's the thing. Could you find a trade? Yes. Could you also get faked out? Yes. And I think there's a higher probability of being faked out today. So that's what I mean by today's not a good day to trade. You could make a trade, you could make money. I just think it's just going to be a little bit harder, and you have a higher probability of getting faked out and end up losing money. And that losing money process could put you on tilt. So being able to recognize days that just, maybe you're not here, but I'm going to act as if you are. There have been trading days where I'll take a trade and I'm like, wow, this was just so easy. Why isn't every day like this? And the truth is, I just need to recognize what those days look like, so when we have days like this, we're not as tempted to take trades. Now, before all of this right here, before all of this, when we were dropping, I had the impression that I'm like, this looks good. I'll take it. And it did. And I took it and got out quickly. And I'm glad I did. It didn't even hit down here where I wanted it to hit for my last contract. I just decided to sell it. And from that point, we started consolidating. A sign for that, the sign for that was lack of fair value gaps. Where's our first presented fair value gap for the week? Right here. This is our first presented fair value gap. Is that seriously the first presented fair value gap? It is. Our first presented fair value gap didn't happen until 9:52. That tells you how kind of a crappy day this is. That's our first presented fair value gap. Should you trade today? I think if you see your strategy and your strategy will work in days like this, the answer is yes. If not, then stay out. You should focus KTM on confluences, learning them. What confluences work? Note them. Identify them. Mark them. Right now, the confluence that the biggest and most obvious confluence for today was this inversion inside the 5 or the breaker over here, right there. And this breaker right here and the smaller breaker right here. Those were the two confluences that to me overlapped that gave me confidence to take this short. Okay? Since then, I haven't seen anything else. The only confluence about price moving this direction right now would have been this 2 a.m. sweep of liquidity on the 4-hour chart right here. That says price goes higher. Well, we've been doing that, and could we go higher? Sure, but the way it's moving, I don't like it. So it's the best way for me to describe what you should look for is to give you examples. At the 9:45. Why didn't I? Because I felt we were going to consolidate and we haven't had a single fair value gap. Typically, I'd wait till we get a fair value gap before I take any trade, but I like this breaker overlapping with the other breaker, and I decided to take it. It worked out, but we didn't get a fair value gap until 9:52, and we had news at 10 o'clock. So without a fair value gap and news at 10 o'clock, you shouldn't be taking a trade. No steal. I'm committed to ICT concepts. That's what I trade. That's what the Lord led me to. That's what I'm committed to. Now, the Lord could have led you to somewhere else, and you can learn from that. I mean, I'm not saying my way is the right way. That's not what I'm trying to say. Oh. Yeah, I don't do much with anything else. I really don't do much with volume either. I don't have any volume candles on my chart. Yeah, that's all I really trade on is NQ. I've been interested in looking at gold more. But I haven't traded it. I invest in gold, but I don't trade it. There's a breaker. That drop swept liquidity over here. So you have a sweep of liquidity followed by a push the other direction. It's always a good sign to look for. I came across a new feature, or a feature that I didn't realize on TradingView. It allows me to create a live link to my chart. So for those inside the Academy and the Discord, I'm going to be creating another channel for you to be able to see what levels I have marked in real time. And it will update it, and you'll be able to see it instead of me just posting pictures. I think it's going to be an easy way for you to see those levels on what I think are important to pay attention to. Really, when you're looking at levels, I think you should only be, when I post, it's going to be mostly on the daily, 4-hour, and hourly, and 15-minute. Anything below that will move too quickly. So. Yeah, I'm not a fan of I don't trade gold, so I can't really speak to it. I've just cut my teeth on the Nasdaq, so that's what I've learned, and that's what I've stuck with. I do have some funded next accounts. I plan on doing a video on them. I think they have something unique that nobody else offers that is super special, and that being they do not have a monthly subscription on their eval accounts. So you can get an eval account and cut your teeth on that for 6 months and not have to pay a monthly subscription. I think that's stellar. I don't think I'll ever trade options. I just don't like it. I don't like the decay of contracts. I just never liked it. It bothered me. If my level's finding support and it's gonna move in my direction, I don't want to have to sit in a trade for an hour and then when I'm at break even, I'm actually down. That's stupid. That's like another level of stress you have to add is the trade idea that you want or that you see. Not only do you need it to play out, but you need it to play out right now. That's like dumb. If a trade is going to play out and it's showing structure, I was in a trade for an hour and a half and it moved my direction. If that was an options contract, I would have lost money. Yet I made 30 handles on that trade in an hour and a half. It wasn't the best. it was a day like this, right? You see it sets up, and now you have to wait through all of this consolidation. And if you're in an options contract, you probably would have lost money. Oh, they affect you greatly, especially towards the end of the day. I used to trade options. That's what I started with. I don't even mention them anymore. That's how much I don't like them. All right, guys, we're at 11 o'clock and we've done nothing. Even if it does something right now, I'm not going to take it. I'm just not going to take the first clean move that shows up. It's just been a horrible day. Surprisingly, we took, in my opinion, the only possible trade, and thank you, Jesus, it worked out. So I'm grateful. I am grateful. We're going to call it a day here. Tomorrow is going to be a private live stream. So those in the academy, I'll be posting some information on that. But for the rest of you, we'll be live here on Wednesday morning. We'll look forward to seeing you guys there. We're going to call it a day. You guys stay safe. God bless. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.